I know that most of your listeners are investors, and for investors, it's really a relationship type business for investors to establish a relationship with the property owner and keep in touch with them and keep calling them and just giving them either some advice or something that you noticed about the property, have a friendly chat with them, keeping in touch with them. And it's just a matter of calling, researching, and then calling them and trying to establish a relationship with them.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Benjamin Brant, who's been making serious moves in the commercial real estate industry for quite some time now. Benjamin, glad to have you, man. Welcome in.
Hello there.
I'm excited for you to be here today. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from just your breadth of experience when it comes to how long you've been doing shopping centers in particular, which is one I find interesting, and what you can find out by just knowing so many cycles in today's market. So I'm excited to dig in. So for people who may not know you yet, tell us about what your main focus is and the markets that you operate in.
Well, my main focus is in South Florida. I've been managing shopping centers for over 36 years, the smaller strip centers, although one of the shopping centers I do manage is over 74,000 square feet, located in Pompano Beach, Florida. And every day it brings new challenges to keep the cycle running of collecting rent and paying the bills and maintaining and leasing. And I do get involved in the sale of properties, dealing with the owners of the properties and the tenants on a daily basis. Very challenging and very rewarding at the same time.
It sounds like it. There's so many things going on in the shopping center world. So let's take a step back for a second. How did you get into this asset class? What was it that ultimately led you to working in this area?
Well, I was originally at a young age in film and TV production, mainly in film, doing commercials and eventually producing them. And my mother actually was a real estate broker back in the 80s, and she was joint venturing with investors and developers to build shopping centers. And she asked me to come back home and give her a hand in operating the shopping centers. And that's how I got first involved in it. And in the beginning, you're crawling, learning, working on it a daily basis, and you don't know what's going to come up from a day-to-day situation, whether it's showing space to a prospect. And I just want to say it's one of the things, it's very important to qualify your prospects because they're going to end up being your partner in the operation of the shopping center. And a lot of times people out there, they don't have the experience and the capital to operate their business in the property. But that's from experience you learn.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Let's dive in there. Shed some light on what you mean by properly qualify. And in your time in the business, what have you noticed in terms of tenants that tend to make it and tenants that tend to not make it? What are those correlations you've seen?
Well, you have the tenant that wants to take their hobby and turn it into a business, and you have to be very wary of those type of prospects. What you want is you want somebody that's relocated, that's been in business. You want somebody that's expanding to another location. But first off is that you have to make sure that you don't have a like use in the property because you don't want to be cannibalizing your existing tenants. And with today's world, especially like a grocery store or another type of business, medical, or even services, they try to cover each other's businesses. So you have to be wary of that. But you do want experienced prospects because you're going to end up depending on their monthly rent.
Like how you mentioned earlier, like you're partnering with them. That's a whole different mindset to take towards looking at a tenant versus, they're going to be using my space. And then the one where you're taking on where, no, we're partners in making this place successful. It takes you and it takes me. This ain't just a one-off, one person kind of thing. I love the way that you're approaching that. That's like a people first mentality. Appreciate that.
Well, you want them to exceed, and you sometimes even have to tell them your store needs to be freshened, you need to offer specials, you need to be competitive with your other within your market. And I've seen where they get lax and they fall behind, and they need to be coached along.
To do that for them, because that's stuff, if you're not in that world, you're not really thinking about that. You're just, if you're visiting the shopping center, that's not going through your mind as you're walking around it. But behind the scenes, it makes sense, freshening up your stuff, making sure that even competing in the market, because you said this a second ago, avoiding the ones that are turning their hobby into a business. And that is one that you do see fail quite often, because there's a misunderstanding in the business world that that if you just got a good product, it'll work. And that's not the case. Like a business, it's been studied for a long time. You can get a PhD in it if you want to. There is a system, there is a process, it operates a certain way. And if you build it, it'll work. And that'll let you do that thing you're passionate about. That's fine. But it's not just doing that well is going to create a successful business.
Well, in shopping centers also, you want the um, customer to come to your center and not only become a destination location for that customer, but then when he sees, oh, I didn't realize that UPS is there, that they also can go to UPS or another store. In a shopping center, a customer, you want them to go there 1.7 times. And it's that other time that they go there that helps the tenants and helps the cash flow at the end of the day of the business.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
You got me thinking. I'm thinking of there's 2 shopping centers I go to in St. Augustine. There's only 2. And the reason is Publix is at both of them, and one has a UPS store, and the other one has where I get my hair cut. And I
That's
like
right.
what you're describing is fascinating because there's a science to it. There's a and then you said cannibalized. Where I get my haircut, they just put in another haircut place in there, and there's only like 7 spots. It's not a big shopping center. So also I was thinking like, wow, that's very interesting. A little hiccup on the manager's part of, you want what we do know in business is it's super expensive to get new customers. It's way more effective to keep one for a long time. That's how you really make money with them. And yeah, I can see where that would kind of upset somebody.
Yeah, we call that the tenant mix of, and now you're describing what's known as a neighborhood shopping center or a grocery anchored shopping center where they have the larger tenants, Flicks, CVS,
Mm.
and there are a couple of restaurants, but the industry is turning more towards service type tenants, like you mentioned, the barber shop.
And I could see why it's consistent. It's one of the things like everybody's going to need. You always think about, I've talked to a lot of people about businesses in Florida. Like there's always going to be an AC company here. You don't have to worry about that business going down. Same kind of thing with haircuts. It's
Yes.
everybody's going to need one until you figure out how to do it yourself. They're all going to walk around with just skinheads.
I mean, now today I have an attorney in a shopping center. I have a driving school, maybe even a daycare center, but you have to be careful with that because they do use parking spaces and the drop off. But you really have to think about if it will work. I When a prospect calls my sign, I have an answering service that will actually screen the call for me and ask them not only what location they're calling about, but what business they're in. Because if I have a vacant space and they're calling about putting a salon in there, well, I already have a salon in there and maybe a nail spa and also a therapy, se- um, physical therapy. I have to be careful, and I might just call them and say, sorry, I can't use you as a tenant because I already have an existing tenant like that. So immediately I might not even call them back, or I direct them somewhere else that I know has a possibility for them.
And again, stuff most people don't even think about. You see an open space, I can get into there. So I love seeing the behind the scenes of how it's done, why people are where they're at, how to position them well. There's a guy I follow on Twitter named Strip Mall Guy, who he does a lot of content about this. He was talking about something the other day called the elbow in a shopping center, and how that's like the hardest spot that it is to lease because it gets the least visibility. It doesn't have, and so now every shopping center I drive by, I'm like, what's in that elbow back there?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yep, I have a restaurant for rent right now in the elbow of a shopping center. It's the
That's
worst.
typically that's typically what I see there is a restaurant. Out of the ones I've seen, it's been restaurants in that corner.
That's a bad location for a restaurant because the parking is tight there and you have other issues. But a good place for good tenants for an elbow is maybe a medical office or the type of tenant that is a destination type tenant. One of the things I did want to mention is that there are 2 types of properties. There is a destination property and there is a transient property. And the transient property is one that's in line and where you drive by it and you go there because there's a particular tenant that you are drawn to. The other one is a destination property, which is located near a mall. It might be on a corner. That is, of course, going to be, the rents are going to be higher there and the value is going to be higher at these properties.
And who do you typically see in the destination versus the transient,
A
tenant-wise?
destination will usually have a national tenants there, and the transient location will have more mom and pop or local type tenants.
Stuff.
But they might be
Interest
peppered with national tenants, depending if it's a major state road or just a thoroughfare road.
That's got me thinking about another one, and yep, there's a Dick's Wings in there, Dollar General, and it's not a big one, it's an older one, and then a few local restaurants right there. Interesting. Man, I love seeing that. So let's think about taking all that experience. What are you noticing right now in the market? What are you seeing out there happening? How's it compare to what you've seen before?
Well, right now, I think we're more of a downward market. Unfortunately, prices are very high now. There's less business expansion. And this is really a situation where you want to hold on to what you got. The tenants are struggling. Right now, I am billing the tenants from their expenses of last year because we have triple net leases, which is where the tenants are paying a proration of their premises, the expenses of the maintenance and the care of the shopping center, their real estate taxes, and the property's insurance. Been trying to keep the expenses low and fixed. Insurance went down slightly. Florida did not have any major storms last year, and real estate taxes went up. So I'm billing the tenants now for those expenses. The rents are going to be readjusted in February. And yes, I am going to be getting some phone calls that I can't afford it. And we will work with these tenants and keep them in place. I'm having a few more vacancies now where I didn't have vacancies just 2 years ago. It has to do with the real estate cycles that we go through.
Does this one currently remind you of another one you've seen before?
Well, hopefully it doesn't turn into 2007, where we had to readjust our rent rates because we were trying to attract new tenants, and it did infill. But hopefully we're not headed that way again.
What are the signs that remind you of it and like make that jump out that, okay, hope we're not going there?
Well, I just have tenants that are getting behind in their rents, and unfortunately, I'm having a vacancy in two of the shopping centers where that wasn't an issue just a year or two ago.
So what would you tell somebody who's in the business? What's their big opportunity for 2026? You may have mentioned it already a little bit, but what are you mainly focusing on to get through this year?
I'm mainly focusing on keeping what I have and working with the tenants to make sure that they stay and can have rents where encourage them to keep paying, and we will work with them. Some of the tenants just push through and continue paying, keeping costs down where I can, but that's becoming more and more difficult.
Mm, mm. Yeah, it's interesting. Like you said, it's a cycle. We're all living in it. There's something to do in each version of it as it comes. Identify what those actions are to keep things going and just keep capitalizing as you go. Right? You've seen enough of them now. You know how it works. And
Yes.
that's where, if you're new to real estate, you're just getting in, you've only been in for a couple years, this happens. Don't think it's new. Don't think it won't happen again. It is as regular as it gets. We just don't know what does it each time. That's the difference. We're not sure what the situation is going to look like, but it's as cyclical as it gets. I was thinking about how many Warren Buffett's seen at this point, right? Like how many times have you seen this? And then which one were you finally like, all right, this is the opportunity. Now I get it. Because there is something to capitalize on each time.
Well, I know that most of your listeners are investors, and for investors, it's really a relationship type business for investors to establish a relationship with the property owner and keep in touch with them and keep calling them and just giving them either some advice or something that you noticed about the property, have a friendly chat with them, keeping in touch with them. And it's just a matter of calling, researching, and then calling them and trying to establish a relationship with them. And then hopefully you'll call them at the right time.
Mhm.
Timing is extremely important when trying to find out if a property would be available, and you have to come in very strong. And I've been fortunate where I was called in to take over the management of the company, the property, and then turn around and sell the property for the current owners. But that's kind of rare to be in that situation.
Interesting. And that's the same that I've heard what you just described is especially in commercial and shopping centers. It's a long-term relationship you're after. It's not like a house. You don't just call them once and buy it. That's not the way that conversation ever goes. So knowing going into it, I'm here for the relationship. And if you can get the relationship, then you got a chance later to get the property. Maybe you call at that right time and it works out. But without that relationship up front, it's just not a deal that gets done typically. Well, Benjamin, man, I appreciate your time. Before we wrap up, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, possibly learn a little bit more from what you have to offer, what's the best way to find you?
My email is ben@centergroup1.com. My website is centergroup1.com, and or they can just call me and have a quick chat if they have a problem with the lease, they have a problem with a tenant, they have a maintenance issue, the sale of a business that I do, a lot of transactions. They can just call me at 305-525-5572.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much. And if you're listening, we'll have that information in the show notes so you can reach out to Benjamin, take advantage of that expertise in the market for so long. Talking to folks who know is the game changer for your business. That is relationships are everything. So again, Benjamin, I appreciate you here. Thanks for telling us your story, sharing your perspective. I think we need more people in the space doing it like you, partnering with people, making sure their business is successful, being smart out of the gate. I love the way you're approaching that. And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from today's episode, please like this podcast or like this episode, subscribe to our podcast. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Benjamin out there creating real businesses in the space. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.